Hello, it's Rob Putz here from My Climate and Me. We're here at River Cottage with Craig, the head gardener. How are you, Craig?
How are you doing?
Very good, thank you. I imagine weather plays a big part in your world here.
It's probably one of the most important things that we keep an eye on here at River Cottage. I mean, obviously we have to react to what's going on with the prevailing weather conditions, and that really informs what we do in the garden on a day-to-day basis.
So, Craig, have you noticed anything really strange about the last couple of seasons? Anything sort of out of the normal?
My memory as a child, there definitely used to be 4 seasons, and that doesn't seem to be the case anymore, so that affects what we do as gardeners. But also, one of the things that sparked my interest in the natural world and ecology as a child was garden tiger caterpillars, these big furry things that you used to see marching across pavements and patios. They've all but disappeared in the south here, and it's believed to be due to climate. The overwintering larvae have been rotting off, been attacked by funguses, and so they're actually moving further north.
So if you've got a question you'd like us to take back to the metaphors to get some answers around climate change for?
Absolutely. I'm a keen ecologist, obviously, but also a keen amateur beekeeper. And with our bees being under attack from neonicotinoid pesticides and various other things like varroa mite, I'd just like to know how our insects are going to survive in the future with the changing climate.
Well, that's a great question. What we'll do is we'll take that back to the metaphors and see if we get some answers.
That'd be great. Thanks very much.
Hi Debbie, thanks for joining us here. And so as you know, recently we were speaking to Craig, the head gardener at River Cottage, and obviously a massive connection, personal connection to the environment, but a particular interest in insects. So perhaps you could start off by telling us what sort of relationships do we have to insects on our planet?
Insects are vital to the planet and to our survival, really. There's about 1 million different species of insects globally, which is the largest group of animals on the globe, and about 24,000 different species in the UK alone. Insects provide a vital service to the environment. The pollinating species, for example, of which bees are an obvious one, pollinate about 1/3 of the food that we eat.
Debbie, we see them every day, but how much do we actually know about insects?
We're very lucky in the UK, actually, that we've got some of the longest records for observing certain species of insects in the world. Some of these, for example, is the Butterfly Survey, which is run by the Centre for Ecology and Hydrology and Butterfly Conservation. And also there's the Rothamsted Insect Survey, which has been monitoring on a daily basis both aphids and moths since about 1965. And so without these long continuous records, we really have very little understanding of long-term changes in insect species.
This leads us on to our big question for Craig, and how are insects going to be affected in the future by climate change?
Well, with all these complex interactions, it's very difficult to say, but the general research is pointing to the facts that pest diseases, insects that are pests rather, tend to be very quick to reproduce, and they're also very resilient and responsive to changes. So they're more likely to do well in the future than those insects that we want to conserve, because those insects tend to be less responsive, less able to adapt to future changes. And so it could almost be a double whammy under future climate and environmental change, in that pests could increase and become more prevalent, and more conservation species could be reduced, or certainly under more pressure. So there's a lot of research going on at the moment to try and understand this balance better, understand the processes that control these species better, and therefore to try and look at how to deal with this in the future.
Thank you, Debbie. I hope that answers Craig's question, and we'll hopefully catch up with him soon. But thank you so much for now.